Welcome to the Bookworm Bindery with Cathy-Lynn. This is part 3 of the creation of the Mermaid Junk Journal for my client, Stephanie. So the last video ended rather abruptly. Sorry about that. I had poked 3 sets of holes in, and then I realized I really wanted to do this as a 5-stitch pamphlet stitch instead of a 3. So I went ahead and did that. Got those punched through as well. So that's the only thing that's gone forward there. And then in the 3 stacks of pages for the signatures, I did go ahead and get cut or torn down 2 sets. I had mentioned something about perhaps doing a signature cover. I didn't actually do signature covers, but I have chosen to put the coloring book pages that are shells as the outside, and then we had discussed, or I had discussed with you, the fact of the mermaid being the center of each of the signatures so that it was a complete picture for coloring instead of broken up. So that's the plan. That's pretty much the only plan. So we have the mermaid center. I'm only kind of pressing this down lightly. I'm just going to set these to the side as I get them worked out. And then this will be the seashells. That's the outer pages. Set that to the side a little farther. Okay. Now this particular piece of paper is a little big. It's going to be requiring cutting down, so I'm going to set it aside. Oh, let's make this on the outside. So the size of this journal is a little bit bigger than what's required for a standard piece of paper. And that's because the client likes to have a little bit of extra space so that if there's laces or ribbons or that sort of thing, let me do a quick check. I don't know that this one has to be cut down. Yeah, nope. We're at 5.5 and 8.5, so it's good. If there are lace trims, etc., sticking out a little bit, then she wants that sort of protected. And so that's her choice, which of course will be honored. So all of these pages will have a bit of leeway. I did the other one with the border out, so we'll make this one with that border going inward. Okay. This is just a little bit big too, so we'll move that over there. That's a little bit big and already folded. This is a little bit big, so also. And then spot on. I think we'll put our mermaids inside. I just printed kind of a nice coffee dyed floral, what have you, on the back of that. And then we have a piece of music, sheet music. That one is also going to be a bit big. So now I'm going to get each one of these cut, and let's see, where are we? It's just a little bit wide. I think I'm going to fold this ever so lightly. Maybe. Just looking at that, thinking this will. Five and a half. I'd mentioned in the last video that I really found myself using this quite a lot. And indeed, I have, to the point that I've already replaced the cutting blade once. And It really needs to be replaced again. So I'm starting in the middle and going either way because it kind of catches if I start it on the edge of the paper. Okay, so this we have. And then 8.5. Okay. And then, yeah, not terribly chatty today. It's not like this is really hard. All right. A couple more and we'll be done. The coloring book pages are not quite up to size, so they'll be just a little bit smaller than sort of the average size piece of the other papers, which is cool, actually. I don't know why it's cool, but I'm going with it's cool. In other journals, I've gone on those pages and put lace around the edges to kind of bring them out to size. That lace doesn't stick off, but no, we're good there. So we just need to take this off at the end. So 8.5. I did speak with the client yesterday, and she said that she felt that the trims that I had been looking at putting along the edge of the seam, I'm sorry, the spine, this spine cover fabric right here, we kind of decided on a row of flat back pearls rather than the laces, which would be really pretty, but sort of decided that the pearls went nicely with some of this artwork that we've got to put in here. Let's see, what are we looking for? Maybe, yeah, that'll do there. And then, what else have we got going? Okay, I can't have 3 boring old pieces of plain paper back to back. So we're going to have to rethink that. Here's my center. You can see what I was talking about with the edge of the color pages here and here. But that's okay. All right, let's see. What have we got? Maybe a plain page here. Then I don't know why it's a big deal, really, one way or the other, by the time she gets all of her stuff added in. I'm not going to have any blank pages. By the time I get some pockets and tucks in, that's going to take care of some of that. Okay, so they're not laid out the same other than the mermaid in the middle, shells on the outside. And that means that, you know, each one is going to look slightly different. Pictures will be different. Whatever it is that's making these borders on these embroidery pieces are different. Yeah, it's just, and yet it all has a feel. So now we are at the point where we need to take these and we need to mark them so that I can get them sewn in. And because the coloring pages are shorter, I need to make sure when I start that these are even here and here. Nope, see, when I do that, it's just natural to do such a thing. Okay. I will go back and redo that once this is marked. I will do that for the inside pages as well. Okay. And I don't think that there's really an order that these need to go in right now. Everybody's placed in these signature groups, right sides up, and as long as I keep them right sides up, we're going to be good. Okay, now if you had a pen or a pencil for marking, so we grab one out of this holding box. Make sure these are lined up properly. I'm going to lay these down here. And eyeball it. Oh, I should do that with ink part out. Hello. Looks like it slipped. I could use bulldog clamps or paper clips, but I like to use the might of my own fingers. So we have here, ooh, that's going to show really well. Here, here, it's going to be, yeah, it'll show. And then last but not least, this end. Now I'm going to go ahead and use that hole punch to punch these. Let me get this out of there. Okay. Bring in the hole punch. And just really quick, let me show you what's going to happen with this. And then I think I'll put the camera on pause, because really it's a redundant thing with all three. Okay. And these pages are all nice and even. This center page is even in that grouping. The outer one is still good. What I like to do here is I like to turn it over and I fold it, putting a bit of a crimp fold. And then I'm going to bring it in. That's going to kind of hold it in place. And I'm going to bring it in and I'm going to punch these holes. Now, you might be like, wait, the papers can shift, and occasionally they do. You're right. But here it is. I find that I have more slippage with paper clips. So I'm going to keep this crimp. I'm going to put this one back in it. So just a fold, a light fold on the fold itself. And it does tend to keep the pressure on. Now, if I move this very carefully, we can see that this one's not correct. This one's off a little bit. This is good. This is good. It's going to be fine. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this. Let me just set this in here. This is actually the top one, I believe. I'm going to put you on hold. On hold. I'm going to put this on pause, and when I come back, I'll have the other two of these punched and we'll be ready to sew them. Welcome back. Thanks for waiting. Not that you had to wait long. So I've gotten those done. I do need to put away the hole punch, and let me get these things taken care of. Okay. In the trash those go. I do want to take a minute to say sorry about this low level hummy whine you might be hearing in the background. It's a hot day in the Pueblo, the old Pueblo, and oh, I had to leave the fan on. So now we're going to get these sewn in, and I'm going to start with the back one. Grab my thread and my needle. When I started doing this beginning of last year, I bought a pack of different colors of waxed, trying to pull it out here, of waxed threads. Very well worn. I've used up all of the black. The white's almost gone. And I did this because I wasn't sure how much I was going to like doing this. I wasn't sure what colors would be best, and I have found that this was a really good deal for me. I have since used up all of the black and replaced it with the bigger one I just have right here. But until they get a little bit lower, I'm not quite ready to order white again. I do like, there's a couple of shades of gray. These golds go on beautifully. And I've got this very, very pale, it's kind of a celery green, and I've used that a fair amount. So yeah, this was a good deal. Not sorry I did that, because I can make my threads match up. Oh yeah, this is great, except I need this to be white, so I need to pull that back out. I didn't want to put black on here. I think I was going on automatic pilot. So let me put the white away and pull out the other again. Okay, here we are. We'll dig out that white. Okay. Okay. Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle. All right, let's see what we've got here. Now this client really, really, really likes to have long threads at the center of each signature that gets tied off and hangs down to put charms, little dangly things. So I'm going to take this at 3 times the length, and that will be for 1 signature, but I have 3 signatures. Signatures being the grouping of pages that gets sewn together. And once I have those, I will move this little guy away, as in put it away. The key to keeping a space usable is to try not to have too much stuff lying around. I work really well in spaces that are absolutely cram-packed with stuff. And whether it's cooking in the kitchen or sewing or doing beading, and even here, but if I'm going to video, I'd like it to look nice. You know what I mean? Okay, so this guy is upside down. Okay, let's look at you. Picture, picture. This is where we know. Yep, that's upside or right side up. So I think we're good to go. We're going to turn that. I have shifted it now, of course. Lovely. Okay. Take that needle through, put it into the center back, and this is where the advantage of having fairly large holes cut in helps. The smaller ones that I make when I'm doing my, let's see, we have this one, and now the other one should be right about here. When I use the leather punch, the holes are much smaller. Yeah, that didn't work. And I do a lot of flipping back and forth and trying to find my ins and outs. These larger holes make all of this easier. As you can see, this centerpiece was pretty short and the hole actually was off its page. But this is still going to hold it in quite nicely. And part of the reason I wanted to do the 5-hole punch rather than the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. So we're going to come in. A lovely trick here is to not go through your threads. And it is a lovely trick. It's easy enough to adjust. Okay, coming in here. Maybe. Wow. It's misbehaving because, you know, it's like, oh, look. Ah, see, I was going to go through that thread. Okay. This might be where it's nice to have those paper clips, but I just find that I have less trouble doing this normally. It's probably reaching around the camera stand. That's what I'm gonna blame it on. Yeah. Although I do, you know, have my days otherwise. Okay. One thing I've heard a lot in videos and in the videos that show you how to do, and then in the online classes I've taken, they're like, oh, you know, be really careful not to split your threads, and then be really careful to make sure you're going through the proper set of holes, and watch out for this and that. And I've had very few problems. That's nice. And I don't live frustrated. But every once in a while you're like, yeah, they said watch out for that sort of thing. And here I am dealing with it. Hopefully not dealing with it today. Okay, and in and through. Okay. So the white thread coming down through here is not going to distract much from coloring this page. Pull that nice and tight. The fact that it tightened down nicely tells me it didn't go through the threads anywhere. Like that. And then before I tie it, I do like to go back. I actually already checked quick, but they are all on this first row, not the second row or the third row. I didn't cross over. And then we're going to do a square knot. So on either side of that center thread, I'm going to bring right over left. Pull it in nice and tight. Left over right, makes a knot, square and tight. And then just like when I'm using my serger, changing out the threads, you know, one more time with the right, one more time just in case. That's my little chant. Right over left, left over right, makes a knot, square and tight, one more time just in case. Because threading sewing machines is horrible, and, well, I just don't like it, and sergers are 10 times worse. Okay, so the first one is done. I'm not going to bore you with the next two, so I'm going to put you on pause again. I'll be right back. Hello. Okay, I'm back. That was fairly quick for you. Didn't actually take me very long to do the other parts once I wasn't working around the camera stand. So now these were uneven, and so I'm just kind of pulling everybody and evening them out. So these threads are fairly even. I don't have to be perfect. And if I wasn't leaving them in, it wouldn't matter because they'd be cut off. It wouldn't matter if they were uneven. Okay, right or left. Left over right. Makes a knot that's square and tight. And one more time, just in case. When I do that, I do it right over left. So if the first time wasn't exactly correct, and it wasn't a square knot. The second one would be. Okay, so now we have the 3 signatures stitched in, and this is what it looks like on the outside. We had discussed putting shells on, and I didn't have the shells with, and I decided that if I put shells in, I would prefer to actually add them in, so that they were in addition to the threads that are holding the signatures in the book. So that is how far we had to go today on this third part of the Mermaid Junk Journal. And the next time we're going to be doing pockets and tucks, a little bit of edge decoration, not a lot, because as I've said before, this particular junk journal is one that the client will actually be choosing to add and things into and fill herself. So this is a continuation. We're done with part 3. We're going to do part 4 next. I would like to remind you, if you haven't subscribed, to do so. Hit that bell so that you can get notifications, and like this if you did indeed like it. But comments, again, I'm asking, I'm begging. I'd like to hear from you. And as we're starting to draw to a close, perhaps ideas of what you'd like to see next in the way of a project in progress. So this is a big project. I did do a short video on some pips that I had going, my second video, I guess, but for longer term things. I could use a little input if you'd like to share. So come back. We're not done. You've got to come back for the next part 4. Thanks. This is Kathy with the Bookworm Bindery again. Don't forget to like, hit the bell, blah, blah, all of those things. Have fun.